Hey guys, today I want to talk about a few things that I have growing in my gardens that are just seed once, feed forever kind of plants. You can plant it and forget it and it's going to come back year after year and produce an abundant harvest. There's a few things that I will show you. Of course, it won't be exclusive to everything that exists, so put in the comments what you have in your garden that works best in your climate for things that you plant once and harvest forever. Alright guys, one of the things that is growing in my garden that does wonderfully year after year is going to be our sunchokes, and I'll show you from previous videos. I do have a full video that I did on the sunchokes. They're an amazing plant, very nutritious, very hardy, makes beautiful little tiny sunflowers, but they also make these tubers, and those tubers are edible and they're good for you, but they will stay under the ground and produce new plants year after year. If you're in a particularly cold climate, you're going to want to pack the ground with some straw to kind of insulate it through the winter months, but they will typically come back on their own. These I did not plant this year. These are from previous years, and they're coming up all over my beds. On the other side, we have some little cucamelons. Cucamelons are kind of like little, they call them mouse melons. It looks like a melon for the size of a mouse. But it's actually in the cucumber family, and it's got like a little citrusy bite. They're really great for pickling, great fresh on salads, delicious. They're about to come into fruiting. They're not fruiting yet, but I'll show you what they look like. The seeds are heirlooms, so you can replant them, and usually they will drop seeds and replant themselves. But regardless of that, they too produce a little tuber. They stay under the ground, and they will come back on their own in the spring. Again, if you're a particularly cold climate, then you may want to pack the ground with straw to kind of insulate them, but in most places they will come back on their own year after year. They take no care. In the very first year that you plant them, you might have to look after them a little bit, but once they're established, they're going to grow wild and they're going to grow abundant. Now, if you see behind me these things growing all along my rabbit pens back here, that's turmeric, and I do have a whole video on that. I actually have some videos on how to grow it. Those are going to come back on their own year after year because they're a tuber also. Now, if your climate is super cold and you're scared to leave them in the ground, you can harvest them just like a potato. Put them in a box inside with some dirt for the winter, take them out and replant them. That's fine. But all I do is I do like these other tubers. I just pack some straw on top right before the first freeze. I cut them to the ground, put some straw, leave them there, dig up what I need year round, and then the spring and summer they just grow more and more and more. So the turmeric is coming up all over the place, and there's some in different beds too that got planted accidentally, and they're just easy and something that you can have for medicine and for food and for seasonings all year round, and year after year without having to put new plants in the ground. All right, they're not looking so great right now because we're coming to the end of their season and they're starting to die out, but this is my echinacea. You can use them for teas and for medicine, and once you plant them, you can pretty much forget it. You will have a patch there forever. There are perennials. They'll come back year after year from the root, but they'll also drop a lot of seed. Also, I have videos on how to get the seed from them so that once you get one started, you no longer have to purchase seed because they are kind of expensive, and they're expensive to buy in the store, but they're a great medicinal plant, and once you plant them, they're beautiful, and you always have them year after year after year. I mean, you can really create the Garden of Eden out here where you don't have to do that much work continuously to always have something that you can be harvesting. All right, when you're dealing with dark leafy greens like collard greens and so forth, you can usually just cut leaves as you need. When the time comes that it's too hot or it's bolting or whatever, you can cut it to the dirt but leave the root, and they're going to come back. I have 3 and 4 year old cabbages, 3 and 4 year old collard greens. Again, super cold climates, when you cut it to the root, you may have to pack it with straw, but you don't have to replant it and baby it. It's going to come back on its own in the proper time, the proper season, and you'll always get a little something from it. You also want to plant heirloom seeds because, as I have shown you before, and I will show you again, I have like some sweet little million cherry tomatoes that they come up on their own every year. Everywhere there's a trellis that the birds could land and eat and drop one, I get volunteer plants from those cherry tomatoes. So while it's not technically a plant once forever, then you get it kind of thing, for me it is, because I planted them once and now they come up on their own every spring. I don't have to start seed. In fact, I usually go through the beds and have to pull out a bunch. I can move them to where I want them, but usually I just give them away because I have so many that come up on their own voluntarily. I do have a video that talks about this, about the importance of heirloom gardening and the benefits of how often you get reseeding of your crops and you get volunteer plants. So that's just a great way to get more without all the work. Another great plant to plant and forget and get from year after year, season after season, is going to be herbs, things like these mints. Once they're established, you can't barely get rid of them. That's why they're in a container, but they will come back and produce on their own in their season. I mean, they really don't even need fertilizing. These things are so hardy, and there's a lot of different herbs that are like that. So you can go ahead and just plant you a little herb garden. And that's something, once established, will continue to feed you with very minimal, if any, tending to them other than your harvest. All right, in this bed, I have my bunching onions. They're just starting to come into a little bit of their season, and they're coming back from the ground. I'll give you a close-up so that you can see this. I have yellow squash and other things that were in here from the previous season because I don't replant my bunching onions. I harvest what I need. I harvest extra to give away or put in the freezer, but I always just leave some seed. They will keep bunching and multiplying and spreading out, and they will always have onions in this spot. So I don't have to replant them. I just take what I need and they just keep giving. Another thing you can do is plant wild varieties that will just tend to themselves and come back on their own. Things like amaranth, where once you put seed out and you get them established, they're going to reseed themselves, come back year after year. Lamb's quarter, a lot of these old wild, very nutrient dense foods, once you get them established, they'll just come back and produce and reproduce for you with little to no care at all. You don't have to reseed, they'll reseed themselves. Look for things that grow well in your climate and just let them get established in your own little food forest. Rhubarb is another one. Horseradish, you can barely get rid of it. Once you get it established, you can just keep harvesting from it year after year. Prickly pear cactus in the little bit more arid climates. Both the fruit and the pad are both edible. And they will take care of themselves and come back on their own without your interventions. There's some in the greenhouse, but asparagus is another really good one that will just produce more and more each year. They're going to spread out, they're going to bunch out. It takes about 2 years to get them started, but once they're established in a bed, they will produce for you over and over and over and over again without needing to be reseeded. Another thing that you can plant would be things like muscadines, blackberries, those vining plants. They'll reroot and reestablish themselves year after year. They'll grow for so long and produce so much food. Kiwis will produce a lot as well. But things like blackberries, especially native varieties, like I said, muscadines, whatever grows well in your climate like that, grapes, those plants will come back on their own year after year and they will produce food. And yes, there is a little maintenance to them, but it's not a required maintenance. You can get more fruit if you maintain them, but if you have to skip a year, if you don't have time for them for a while, they're going to be okay. They're going to keep producing food for you. All right, one of your best sources of food year after year without having to reseed is going to be fruit trees like that one and that one. It takes a little while to get them established, but once they're there, they will bear hundreds of pounds of fruit a year, some of them for hundreds of years. Now, I'm going to do a whole nother video right after this one on specifically nut and fruit trees, and I'm going to give you how long each one will produce food for you. So make sure you like, share, and subscribe and do all the things that keep you notified so that you can catch that video, because you are going to be surprised. There is one in particular that will actually produce food for over 1,000 years. So fruit trees are going to be on the top of the list of the things that are going to produce for you year after year without having to replant. Nut trees too, but you get the point. do a little research to find out the trees that are native to your region. This is a wild persimmon tree, grows wild here. If it's a native fruit tree or nut tree, you won't have to do anything to take care of them. You won't have to worry about the climate, the bugs, the blights, all of those things. They're going to survive really easily. So that's the kind of things you really want to put on your property. There are just so many things that you could plant without having to replant and tend to it year after year. This is just something to kind of get you thinking. Of course, check the comments because I'm sure all of our HT family will share many more ideas. These are just some of the things that I have growing in my garden. For those of you that like history and learning about the history of agriculture, I'll give you a little bit of backstory. In the Bible, when God brought the Israelites into their promised land, he gave them instructions on how to care for it agriculturally. And one of the things he told them was that, you know, every 7 days, 6 days they work. On the 7th day, they were supposed to rest, take a break, spend time with God, and spend time with their family. Well, every 7 years, they would work the land for 6 years. And on the 7th year, they were supposed to give the land a Sabbath, or they call it the Sabbath of years, or the Shemitah. And during the Shemitah, that whole year, the land was supposed to be allowed to rest. There wasn't supposed to be any pruning of the trees, any planting of seeds, any commercial harvesting. And for that year, they survived partially off of things that they had stored up in previous years, that God had promised he would, you know, make abundant if they were willing to trust him enough to do this. But primarily, mostly, they were surviving off of perennials, things that were reseeding on their own, foraging, fruit trees. And it was a good, I think, agricultural practice to keep them reminded of the importance of these kind of Garden of Eden experiences, that you don't always have to survive by the labor of your own hands, that God has also provided some things that provide back for us with really very little intervention. And when they knew they had to do that every 7 years, it made them kind of plan their land around it with things that would produce on its own. And it's just a good reminder that you don't have to do everything on your own and put all that work in. You can pick things that will help to give you a little more time for a little vacation. So plan your garden smart, work smarter, not harder, plant things that will come back on their own, that will work with you and not against you, and you will enjoy and love your gardening experience. So I hope you have found this video interesting. Again, make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Do all of those things that keep you notified when more content comes out, because I will put a video up right after this one in a day or so, specifically looking at nut and fruit trees and telling you exactly how long each one of them will produce food for you. And again, I think you will be very surprised at how much and how long they really produce food. And that's why, you know, God set it up in the Bible where people were able to maintain their own land, their private property, so they could do these things. That was part of the purpose in the Shemitah, was to make sure that they were able to do that and remember to do that. In modern culture, people have kind of been robbed of their land or discouraged from owning private property, and so they can't do that. So you have to buy the food and the fruits and everything from them over and over and over and over and over and over again. Believe me, if you can grow your own food, it's going to be so much more nutritious, so much more satisfying, and so much less work. It is a lot of work on the front end, but then there are those times where you really can just sit back and enjoy the bounty that has been given to you from a good God.